G'day there guys, it's your main man Marky here, back with another episode where we complain about our kids' last names and marriages and why I don't want to take your last name because it's boring and it sucks. And anyway, if you love today's bloody good content, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the barbie, and get ready for that content because it's really something. It is something after all. Am I the asshole for not wanting my husband's last name for our kids? So before my husband and I were married and were discussing marriage, I told him I wouldn't change my last name. He said fine at the time, and I assumed that's because he thought that I would change my mind, which I didn't. I could tell his family didn't like it, but they've never come out and said anything to me about it. I generally get along with his family. I am now pregnant, and my husband and I are arguing about what the last name will be. I just plain don't like his last name. It's very common, almost as common as Smith. He wants his, saying he's an only child and the family name will die. His parents are divorced, so his maternal side is saying that it will hurt his dad's feelings if we didn't use that last name. His dad kicked him out when he was a minor because that's what his new wife wanted, who he also eventually divorced. His maternal side's family name also dies out. I've told him I would do that name, but that's not good enough. And when I ask why, all he can come up with is, I don't know, because. As an edit, I was told by my doctor that I had a low probability of being able to conceive, which I obviously told him when we first started dating. We've been together for 9 years. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I told my husband I didn't care if it hurts his family's feelings. I don't want the baby to have that last name because it sucks. Now in the comments, Traumatized Trashbag says, everyone sucks here. Hyphenate, compromise, go to counseling, do something. This is a joint decision. You don't get to decide his name isn't good enough and use yours and expect him to be fine with it. Hyphenate is the best option. Then when the child is an adult, they can decide what they want to do if and when they marry. I can't wait for the Am I the Arsehole in the future. I'm Ted Johnson Phillips and my wife Jane Herman DeSanta are getting married and she's pregnant. What do we do? I say no arseholes here, both want the same thing and both have reasons for why. Might as well just flip a coin because no matter what, not everyone will be happy regardless. Also, the takeaway I got was she doesn't want it to be her name, she just really doesn't want it to be his, so double-barreled would still have his name. Everyone sucks here. At first I was leaning towards no arseholes, but the way you're both arguing rather than looking for a solution that honors both of your desires just sucks. This is really something y'all should have discussed before dragging an innocent baby into your stubborn gatekeeping. Seriously, this is a major issue that should have been worked out a long time ago. It was not far into my relationship with my now husband when I had a conversation where I made it clear that I'd never change my name. He said, okay, but I want a kid with my name. And I said, cool, we should have 2 so I can have 1 with mine. And this is what we have now. I don't know what we'd have done if we had difficulty conceiving and struggled to have a second. But the point is, you talk about the things that matter to you. And RMM035 says, everyone sucks here. How did you end up not talking about this when you chose to keep your name? The fact that you didn't take his name because, or at least partially because, you just didn't like his name should have immediately led to, I also don't want our kids to have your last name either. But you also need to recognize how horrible a thing it is to tell someone, especially your partner, that you don't like their name. You married this guy, including his name. Coming out with this now is pretty backhanded and obviously offensive. So no matter what the kid's last name is, you owe him an apology. But as for your baby, maybe you hyphenate? Smith other name is much less common than Smith. If you can't work this out, it's probably time for couples counseling. And while you're at it, it's time to discuss other important child-related things like schooling, religion, expectations about childcare, etc. The two of you clearly haven't discussed some pretty significant topics. Our next post is by user Am I the Arsehole Throwaway Sleep, titled, Am I the asshole for telling my wife that if she wants to bed share, she needs to sleep in the kids' beds? So my wife and I have been together for 6 years. She has a 13-year-old and a 9-year-old. When we first got together, they were both still in her bed. They were both relatively small and I worked nights. It was never an issue. Last year, I suffered a work injury and now have to sleep on a memory foam mattress. I assumed by now that both kids would have grown out of co-sleeping, but obviously haven't. I can't comfortably sleep in a bed with 2 kids, especially because my stepson, 9, is a little ninja. He is constantly kicking during the night. They will occasionally sleep in their own beds, but very rarely. My stepdaughter is a little better, but stepson will have meltdowns if we try and send him to his own bed. My wife doesn't believe we should force them out, which I understand, but I can't keep sleeping on the couch when they're in the bed. A couple days ago, I blew up over it. My back is killing me, and I'm tired. I essentially told her to take the kids and sleep in one of their beds. I need the comfortable mattress for my back. We never really got to discuss it because stepson got upset and started crying. That night, she took the kids to her parents for the night, and back at home, she explained that they wouldn't all fit in one of the kids' beds. She agreed that I could have the big bed, but is ordering a memory foam mattress for our son's bed so I can sleep there comfortably. I don't want to sleep in a kid's bed. I want my bed, and I'd like to actually spend a night with my wife. Her parents are on her and the kids' side, obviously. But I still don't think I should have to give up my bed for them, in the nicest way possible, because I paid for it. The issue is getting worse, and my in-laws are now calling me abusive for trying to take their comforts. So am I the asshole? Important info, both kids and my wife are ASD diagnosed, stepson also has ADHD. Now in the comments, not the asshole. I also think it's problematic for your wife to expect you to sleep night after night with a teenage daughter. That aside, kicking you out of your own bed so she can sleep with a teen and a tween is a strange dependency on her part. Is she planning on moving into their dorm rooms or going on their honeymoons in the future? Just know. Time to grow the kids up and have an adult relationship with her husband. Not the asshole. Yikes. I watched my mum force my dad to sleep on the couch their entire marriage because she'd rather have a kid in her bed. I was the oldest and slept with her until I was 10. I'm an adult now, and I still have a hard time sleeping if I'm home alone. It made things worse for me. Eventually, my dad got fed up and divorced her. Rule number 1 for my husband and I when we had kids was no kids in the bed, with the exception of nightmare or sick kid or something. Kids need their own space and adults need their own space. They have to learn about privacy and boundaries. Even if the kid isn't comfortable with it, I was an early riser as a child and my mum taught me to play in my room until they were up. I'm thankful she did that, otherwise I would have struggled to be on my own. Practical advice. I have co-slept with my kids, 2 of whom are not neurotypical and didn't self-wean with the co-sleeping. The way we weaned them was to first put a single bed in our room close to our bed for them to sleep in at night. That way they were right next to us but in their own bed. Then we moved the bed away from ours and up against another wall. Then we moved the bed into their room and had them start every night in their room and in their bed, but had an air bed and blankets on the floor next to my side of the bed for them to come into if they needed. Then eventually the air bed was removed, and if they wanted to sleep in our room, they had to grab some cushions off the couch and bring them in. It honestly took well over a year of very, very slowly getting them used to and comfortable with each stage. And even now my 13-year-old occasionally comes and sleeps on the couch in our room. But with patience and a gentle approach, it can be done in such a way that you have your bed and mattress from the outset, and they aren't forced into a situation that they aren't mentally or emotionally ready to deal with. Our next post is by user Pickle Weasel Nene, titled, "Am I the asshole for talking about my aunt's watermelon ass?" So my son and his friend put up a tire swing in the yard for my grandchild. I posted a picture of me swinging on it on Facebook. My aunt commented on it saying, "I hate skinny people." Now, I'm not one for Facebook drama, so instead of commenting back, I called her. I basically said that I don't talk about her watermelon ass, so she shouldn't be talking about my weight. Now all my aunts, 5 of them, are mad at me because apparently skinny people can't be body shamed, and that I should have told her first that I don't like those comments instead of straight out calling her out on her watermelon ass like I did. I don't think I'm the asshole because it's not like I told her that I'm skinny, because my sisters and I have always exercised more, so we didn't inherit the family's watermelon ass. But skinny is also something I didn't have to really work for. It's just how I am. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I believe I might be the asshole because I should have spoken to her about it first, even though she should have known better. Now in the comments, everyone sucks here, but I'd upvote twice if I could, because this story is hilarious. Next time, don't go down to her level. Everyone sucks here, but you were far more justified than her watermelon ass was. I disagree because OP did it privately, where the aunt did it publicly. It would be an everyone sucks here if OP did it publicly. Insulting and fat-shaming people privately is not an asshole move? But skinny shaming is still body shaming, and that was done publicly. In my honest opinion, talking crap should be done privately. Auntie brought it upon herself. I wouldn't have done the same, but I don't think OP is the asshole. Maybe a jerk, but not the asshole. Everyone sucks here, including me because I can't stop laughing at watermelon ass. Not the asshole. I'm a skinny person myself. We can't talk about our struggles without comments, backhanded compliments, looks, etc. Your aunt started the drama by acting like a little 14-year-old troll and commenting on your picture for no apparent reason except to be the asshole. Of course your other aunts, who probably share the same body type, are going to defend her. But you also could have just as easily commented back on the post, yet instead chose to call her. She should be thankful she's not getting called out for skinny shaming on your page. And OP replies, they sort of all have the same body type. Dad has 7 sisters, but only 5 are still alive. A couple of them aren't overweight, but all 7 have, or had, that watermelon ass. Me and my sisters have always called it the family watermelon ass, so it kind of slipped out. Our next post is by user MissTishYO, titled, Am I the Asshole? I told an old friend her fiancé was a catfish, and she said I ruined her life. So, years ago, I had a casual friendship with a lady at church. We'll call her Sally. Now, we are Facebook friends and have 20+ friends in common. A few months ago, she posted that she had a new love in her life. Then she posted a photo of an engagement ring and said that she was engaged. We all sent congratulations, however, she never answered comments from us asking how they met, when they were getting married, etc. She said she was going to become the stepmom to his 13-year-old. She is 70. A mutual friend messaged Sally and was told a long tale about this fiancé. They never met in person, he was from Europe working in Canada, had a thick accent, was widowed, and they used Google Hangouts. All obvious signs of a love scam. A few days pass and a new Facebook profile appears with this fiancé. A quick reverse image search proved the man on the profile picture was not this fiancé. We were concerned our friend would be the victim of a financial scam. She is elderly and on a tight fixed income. We shared the evidence with Sally via private message as gently as we could. She reacted by going on a tirade about how we shattered her world, plotted against her, and gossiped to all her friends. We didn't. We shared our findings with no one, and said that we took away her only happiness in life, and now she is separated from the fiancé. We wanted to protect her from being scammed out of her money. Are we the assholes? Personally, no, I don't agree with the notion that you would be the assholes in this instance. I feel like you did her a great service by uncovering this scam and showing her that, look, you're being taken advantage of. I know that you're lonely and you need company right now, and that this was the only happiness that you've had recently, but it's not worth your financial security. I don't know how you can prove to her that you weren't gossiping and everything, but it's understandable that her knee-jerk reaction was to do this. Yes, it's better for her in the long run, but in the short run, her happiness and her coping mechanism is taken away, and so many promises of something that she wanted are taken away. It's understandable she's upset. So, not the asshole. Now in the comments, the Meowmer says, "Not the asshole, but she's probably heartbroken to discover this. You definitely helped her in the long run, but maybe give her some time to process everything. This is probably hard for her." And OP replies, "Yes, we are backing off 100% while she processes this." Adding to this, she may be very embarrassed about it too, especially since it's coming after she announced her relationship on Facebook and now probably has to answer questions on why it's over. Exactly. She'll eventually calm down and see that it's for the best. It's honestly really great, the progress you already made. Many people, especially otherwise smart people, will double down and go into denial when confronted with the idea that they fell for a scam. They will try to justify why they believed it, and in doing so, will justify the scam itself. Your friend probably has a ton of strong negative emotions that she needs to face and deal with right now. Shame and embarrassment and heartbreak. You still did the right thing. It's a band-aid that needs to be torn off and cleaned ASAP. Hopefully she'll appreciate what you did someday. And OP replies, "Thank you. She said he never asked her for money. I don't believe her. But even if that's true, he still lied about his entire identity. I don't know if she will come around or appreciate me, but she's kind of a bitter lady to begin with. But maybe." Look, even if he hadn't asked for money, he definitely would have in the future. Scammers are heartless and will drain someone dry. You did the right thing, not the asshole. Not the asshole. You aren't an asshole. The fake fiancé is clearly an asshole and a catfishing scammer. Sally is, somewhat understandably, having an emotional time dealing with her happy idea crumble around her. The lashing out does not make her an asshole, but that's very much a reaction to save face, which I would take as forgivable. Dopey replies, "Lol, she was kind of an asshole, that is true." I mean, it's inappropriate for her to lash out at you. She's understandably and forgivably angry to my read though. None of you guys are the assholes, nor is Sally. It seems like her world is shattered, and yet you all did nothing wrong. Seems like you actually protected her from possible financial abuse. It's understandable she might be angry, but her anger shouldn't be at the messengers. It should be at the catfish. I'd just explain that bit to her. That while her feelings are valid and while she clearly does carry some pain, it wasn't done with the intention of hurting her. You did it with the intention of helping her. It's not plotting against her, otherwise you'd have just let her do her own thing. Not the asshole at all. And OP replies, "Thank you. Your comment is so helpful. I didn't even put that together in my head, but you said it perfectly, that her anger was pointed at the wrong party. Look, you did nothing wrong, but she's probably mortified and angry. Do not bring it up again and give her space." Our next post is by user MainPromise1566, titled, "Am I the asshole for saying, 'I'll see you there' to my ex's aunt, telling me that I'm going to hell?" So my ex's aunt and uncle helped my ex care for our child on his time. Aunt is deeply fundy religious and loves to preach to anyone and tell non-religious people they're going to hell if they don't find salvation and get to praying. Now, I'm not religious, but I don't care if others are. Aunt had been telling my child that mummy is going to hell and will never go to heaven because I don't go to church and pray like she does. I had mostly brushed that off and told my child that mummy will be okay. My ex is an atheist and I doubt she says the same about him. Ex's aunt has now started saying it to my face that I'm going to hell. I was feeling cheeky, so I gave her my best smile and said, "Wonderful, I'll see you there." Obviously, the aunt found this to be incredibly disrespectful and offensive, as she has dedicated her life to the church. Am I the asshole? Now in the comments, not the asshole. It's polite to RSVP to plans. My usual response when told by a zealot that I'm going to hell is, "You first." Mine is, "Fortunately, you don't get to decide." Usually shuts them up since they shouldn't be judging. Not the asshole. Good for you. She's hurting your child deliberately. She knows that saying this is not going to convert you, she's doing it to freak out your child. Why does your ex need help caring for his own kid on his parenting time anyway? Might be worth looking into whether you can get these damaging individuals barred from being around your child. And OP replies, "We have a week-by-week schedule. X is a truck driver in state, but goes to work between 3 to 4 a.m., so our child stays overnights with the aunt and uncle on my ex's week, and X spends times with kiddo for a few hours in the evenings." Do you think the aunt is really fit, though, to care for anyone's kids with that attitude and behavior? I hope your child is old enough to advocate for themselves. Being stuck with a grumpy elder lady who was smack-talking their mum has got to be uncomfortable at best. And OP replies, "Kiddo is 7 and just finished 1st grade. Not the asshole. Who in their right mind tells a child that their mum is going to hell? Someone on my ex's side told my daughter that. She was so upset, she was crying to me about it. I got on the phone and told him to figure out who it was, because Satan wouldn't be their biggest problem after I got done with him. Luckily, X isn't a complete asshole, and he ripped the family member a new one. They are not allowed to see our daughter, and his mum, who is his childcare, is fully on board." Alright guys, that's the end of the video. Friendly reminder that I'm now posting daily on my second channel, AmITheA. If you want to laugh at memes with me, link is down in the description below. On phone, you just click that little arrow underneath the video. I also want to say thank you to all my channel members and Patreon subscribers. Your names are currently floating down the screen here, and I love to see all of you guys. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Thank you for supporting me. I really appreciate it. If you see yourself on screen, I want you to give yourself a big pat on the back for being amazing as always, and thank you for supporting me again. I do hope that you guys have a good day, night, sleep, whatever it is you're up to. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.